What's good? It's your boy Jungle J. Hot and ready, live and direct. Change one person this time. We are back in MD with me, my boy Ryan, right here. And what are we here to do, right? My boy has made a book. When did you make this book? Next chapter.
So I published it. I made it during COVID, during quarantine time, and then published it February of 2022.
Okay. So
actually, shit, you want me to get it real quick? I have it.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Hold on.
You have it in your bag?
Yeah.
Oh, bet. Yes, that's great. Yes.
Yeah, fun fact, this is the OG first copy that I ever got.
Oh, this is the OG copy.
Yeah, this is like my copy, written, edited too.
Does this have notes and everything in it?
Some of them. Some highlighted, but I usually I wanted to keep it clean, you know? It was one of those where it was just like the first time you hold it.
Yeah.
You know, even the color scheme's a little bit different, but that's why I was there. That was that first one.
Bet. Well, my boy, the book is called The Next Chapter. It's coping and navigating through the transitions in your life. And I got it, my boy, he gave me it a little while ago, and then I ended up having to get another copy of it, and then another copy of it, but started reading it, and it, first off, the notes that he put in there for me were fucking fire. That was like my dog. And then number two, once I started reading through that, not only first chapter, but understanding like self-dependence and personal wellness, and it just touches on everything. But the reason we're here right now, and it's something that we're actually going to talk about right now, because he didn't get the opportunity to really promote his book accordingly, right? And so I wanted to do maybe 10 to 12 podcasts. I don't know, 10 to 12 episodes. We might make it shorter or whatever. I'll be on the move. We'll probably do it on Zoom or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the end of it, this is something that he actually doesn't know, which he does to a certain degree. Of course I bring it up. Yeah, he's like, of course. You bring it up on me now. But I would like, and this is something that we can agree with or not, but I want to do a networking book promotion event for you. And vice versa, and us work together to make that shit happen. And what does that encompass? I want to agree, but this is the idea that I have for you, is I want it to be there to be not only family and friends there, but I want there to be a DJ, maybe have a party there after we have like a one-on-one like this, talking about the episodes we've done, also the book, and also interviewing on everything. Invite family, friends, and I know you got a lot of different athletes that could come around and also support and promote the book, depending on how much that'll be. I mean, that's like a byproduct of what you're already doing when it comes to, you just make an impact. That's what it would be financially. I mean, we'll work out the numbers later. But that's something that I want to do for you, because I actually ended up co-authoring a book called Mental Health Warriors. And I wanted to do this for myself, right? But I said, it just got complicated with the opposite lifestyle I'm living and also the timing of things, and I knew it would be better if I could do it with somebody else. And I'm the type of person where I believe that if you want something for yourself, you have to give it to someone else first. And so that's my idea of what this maybe could be for you, and Jordan. Yeah, Jordan too. Jordan also helped write this book, but I want to get your thoughts on how you kind of feel about that.
Yeah, no, I'd be down. I think, the goal, I think, when me and Jordan wrote it, was never necessarily finding, not financially being compensated for it. You don't write a book to make millions.
Yeah.
It could surmount to that, but the idea is to share a message, to share wisdom, to share ideas. And that's why I read as much as I do, is to learn. And I think from the experiences we've had are the ones that we've built off of in life, whether that be role models, whether that be research ourselves. It's really spoke to us, so we want to be able to do the same and kind of give back, like you said. So the idea to be able to just share what we've learned in different situations, and kind of the wisdom and mindset that me and Jordan have. A lot of people say it's beyond our years, and I'm always grateful for that, because I see a lot of things down the line before they actually happen. So it's the same idea within the book, is we wanted to be able to share these ideas and to be able to give people a different direction when it comes to reading and the approach to the book and the style and the chapters and how it's structured. So yeah.
I love that because I feel like it's been harder for us to create an environment that we can not only speak like this and find other people that are like-minded like this, but then you can put it into a book with your boy that you also did it with.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And that's kind of how it all started, to be honest. Like, me and Jordan have been friends. He's one of the only people that I still talk to from high school. We've been best friends ever since, and we kind of, you know, we always used to game together, play a little Xbox. So, you know, over COVID, playing online and stuff, and even before that, you know, we should chop it up on FIFA and start talking about life. That's kind of where
FIFA and relationships. Exactly. The competition with FIFA gets rowdy.
So like we would sit there and just talk and like all this stuff, and like we just come up with some really cool ideas, or like really mind-driven type, you know, wisdom. And at some point, like we were like, shit, like we could create a book out of this. And both of us were just like, why not create a book out of it? It's kind of just started off just having conversations, and then we started writing those conversations down, and then putting them, you know, categorizing them or organizing them in a way. It's like, dang, like that's an overall topic, and that's what we'll get into when we talk about each chapter as its own like topic or component in life that I think the majority of us are going to go through, or already going through, or straight in it right now. And then little by little, just chipping away at it, breaking it down, spending time over, like I said, COVID. I would be waking up at like 5 a.m. before his day started. I unfortunately wasn't really working over COVID because gyms were shut down. And I would just break down little by little, you know, those ideas, and next thing you know, started chopping it up together, organizing it, and a few hundred pages to call a book. So,
I'm excited. This is gonna. I feel like this book can make waves. It's just getting the right attention and promoting it properly to make it be heard for the masses.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Today, what I would like to do, which is kind of interesting, is I not only want to do this interview portion, but I want to also add some entertainment pieces along with it. All right. So I thought maybe every 20 minutes we can make a bet. All right. We can make a bet, and it can be something agreed upon for whoever loses has to do that experience. So I thought every 20 minutes I have a little mini basketball hoop in there. I have a water bottle, and then I was thinking we could like chuck a rock. And why do I say that? Is because I want to make this something that's not only informational but also entertaining, and different pieces that people can take away from and also relate to. And I thought that would be a good idea for us to do. Do you think that would be something we could do?
It's your podcast, my guy.
Hey, we're here, bro.
Shut up.
We're sharing this. But the thing is, we have to bet on something. And so, that being the case, I'm going to the extreme of what, maybe not the extreme, maybe it is the extreme, of what you potentially, if you do lose these 3 different games that we have, of what that could be. Okay. Actually, just for you two. We got 3 different items. Well, actually 4 items in my hand. Alright. One might be more agreed upon than other. Okay. So every 20 or 30 minutes, we'll make a cut, and we will either be, this is a mini basketball hoop, we make 5 shots. Alright? Within a specific time period. Alright? And whoever makes it in the shortest time period wins. That can be the first one. Chicken flingers. Alright? Whoever flings the chicken farthest, best 2 out of 3, wins that challenge. Last one is water bottle play. Sure. Obviously, best 2 out of 3. Damn. Bet. So, but whoever loses, this can be agreed upon or not. But whoever loses gets tased. 5 seconds. 5 seconds. TASER. And the thing is, why do I ask the TASER, right? Because if we want to promote this book properly, I think adding a little entertainment value for something that we've both never done, and something that it can't be some weak shit when it comes to it being something like, oh, I'll pay for Korean barbecue, or it could be something different than this. But this could kick it off, episode 1, to be able to promote the book properly, and also do something that might be funny as shit. So, is that a yes or no?
Let's get on with that.
You can say no.
Nah.
All right, and I thought about this, so I said I'll agree to the TASER. I'll agree to that. So, but I said if you lose, I say I have my pink Power Ranger suit in my bag, and that means when we go out to eat, if you lose, you got to wear my pink Power Ranger suit. Is that more agreeable?
I can do that.
You do that? We shake on it. Oh man. All right. I want to get fucking tased. You know what's funny? I asked Jordan Reese how much it would be to get tased by this. How much do you think they said?
Jordan probably said 500.
Fuck those numbers up a lot.
5,000.
Fuck those numbers up 3 times.
15,000.
Said 20.
Well, that's 4 times. So.
Yeah, 4 times. Oh, close. Math. Numbers are hard. But that being said, all right, it's been agreed upon. If I lose, I get tased. If he loses, then guess what? We're going to Korean barbecue tonight, or in like a couple hours, and he has to wear the pink Power Rangers. Yep. Start it up. We're starting it up. But that being said, we're gonna get straight to the meat and potatoes of it, and go into chapter 1. And we're doing chapter 1 and 2 this episode because chapter 1 was pretty short, per se.
Yeah, it was just like pretty nice.
Yeah.
Summer.
And 2 was talking about self-dependence, and depending on how long we would like to go or not, we're gonna make this happen. So, starting off, chapter 1, the first thing that I read from you, and you're probably gonna know right when I start reading it, but you said, chapter 1, our society has grown soft. We will not help to be sweet. We will not help to be sweet and kind. Fuck that. You need to get kicked in the nuts or slapped in the face to learn. But you started it off with that. Why is that? Why do you think you started it off that way?
So, like I told you, me and Jordan wanted to take a different approach with this, and I feel like a lot of self-help books, as a self-help development book, are really kind to you. You know, like, and that's great. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone needs some positive encouragement. But sometimes, like we need a reality check.
Yeah.
We need someone to tell us what we need to know, not what we want to know. I feel like our society more recently has gone soft to the point that a lot of the times it's like, oh, there, it's going to be okay. Shit, it's not always okay, but you figure it out. But we want to set the tone from the get-go and show that it was different, and the approach and the mindset that we had was entirely different as well. You know, what better way to start off, like you said, with the first episode, you want to start off with a bang, like same way we want to start off our book. Set a tone and set a presence, and if people like that, cool. If they respect it, cool. If they don't like it, like, we're not going to please everybody in this world. And plus, like, at the end of the day, I think I say it somewhere too, it's like, it's our book. We wrote it. And a certain audience is going to like it, and maybe people aren't drawn to it, but when we're putting the time and effort into making it, like, we want to make sure that it was something you remember.
Yeah. And getting more on the point to you and Jordan, you also said within the book, this isn't 2 PhD author dudes that have already written books before. This is just two guys that are boys that came together to make something that is special, and to not tell uncomfortable truths, but not to tell comfortable lies, but to tell uncomfortable truths, as you said before. And I think that's something that really needs to be noticed here, is that this is something that I feel everyone can relate to a certain degree, and I know that I've already taken a lot into consideration to what is next. And so, next question is kind of asking you is you in the first chapter you ended up explaining and also talking about living your life by your own rules. What did that really mean to you? And you said, well, this is just life. You said that this is something that you want to live by your own rules. You want to take the steering wheel to all this, and just be a front seat drive.
So I think when I was writing that, the idea was, like I told you, like to take a different approach on the book. Me and Jordan have taken different approaches on our life. You know, once again, society has us graduate school, get into a 9-to-5 job, find a spouse, get married, have kids. You know, a lot of our timeline is mapped out for us before we're even there.
Yeah.
And I think me and Jordan have gone down an entirely different path. So in order to do something different in this world, you have to be different. And what does that mean? That can be in a bunch of different ways. Spend your time differently, have a different mindset and perspective on relationships, friendships, what you want to do financially or what you want to do career-wise, professionally. So the idea is that we set our own terms and our own rules by creating a life that we want. There's good and bad approach to that, but it's the mindset that we aren't necessarily going to be held back by like what other people think of us, but also what other people do in their lives. You know, like I applaud my friends that are, in relationships, they're married, they're going, it's their lives, and I respect and love them for what they want to approach life with. But I've always just envisioned something entirely different about that, but also just like where the direction we want to go with this book is because it's a self-help book, it's a self-development book, it's about yourself, and it's almost okay sometimes to be selfish, to be focusing on you or within your own body compared to like independence.
Yeah. Independence seemed like it was more, when I read it seemed like it was more outer focus.
Yeah, for sure.
And then self-dependence. I just never heard the self-dependence. I don't know. I never heard that before. It seemed like it was more internal in the things that you go through.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what you mentioned in your book is, you said, congrats, you're in the driver's seat. And you ended up transitioning to saying you not only be in the driver's seat, but you have to balance your dreams with responsibilities. That was kind of in the same paragraph. So when you said congrats, you're in the driver's seat, and I think that would be the first question is what did you mean?
So I told you about this. So me and Jordan, there are chapters we wrote together. There are chapters we wrote separately.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And this is actually one of Jordan's chapters.
One of Jordan's. Okay, yeah. Okay, Jordan. Okay, cool.
So I have to ask him specifically, but
well,
I think like speaking on his behalf, and just like being in the driver's seat, I feel like a lot of times.
We're back in action. But yes, you said, where you were Jordan, and Jordan's the one that wrote this chapter, and so I guess it's not speaking for him, but I guess this would be good to kind of be more of your takeaways from what you read, from what he wrote, right? And I think that'll be good just for him to hear it, as well as to get another perspective and maybe something that you'll learn within. I mean, you already read this chapter probably multiple times, but of what you'll take away. And so, kind of transitioning is you talked about Jim Carrey and the comedic aspect of what comics bring in their storylines. And I think Jim Carrey was a great example to talk about self-dependence and what his transition was. Because I don't think a lot of people know his story. And I think I'll just add in what I believe comedians get to do is they get the opportunity to speak on truths and bring those truths to light, even if they're really dark. And I guess talking about Jim Carrey, I guess understanding more of his story is he ended up writing himself a $10 million check, reading all this, and is this something that when it comes to self-dependence he really models for you and Jordan, or is this something that, just using him as an example, is that something that you really take away from something that Jordan wrote?
So like when we split up the chapters and started talking about specific examples, we kind of like approved of the other two persons. stories. You know, I didn't say like, hey, like you can't write about them, but like if Jordan wanted to write about so and so, and he provided me kind of like summary of what he's about to write about, you know, I'm gonna promote it and I'm gonna encourage it. Jim Carrey's story is incredible, and even like I've heard it multiple times, and Jordan like, you know, reads off that story, but I think it encapsulates like the reality check of some situations where like you're put in the driver's seat like a lot earlier than you expect. You know, at 16 years old, where Jim Carrey was and where like the majority of 16-year-old kids, you know, are, you gotta provide for his family. You know, basically like work instead of go to school. And he's put in a lot of situations because of where his family was financially, but he had to be a lot more self-dependent, a lot faster. And he had to hold himself a lot more accountable. And I think a lot of people have to. So when you're thrown into the driver's seat a lot earlier in life, and you plan, just like we talked about, like certain people have certain timelines based on society's like perceptions and societal norms. When you're thrown in that situation a lot faster and a lot quicker than you quote unquote should be, really wakes you up and smacks you across the face, kind of like the book.
Yeah.
So I think it was a great way to start off. And like you said, talking about yourself, talking about accountability, responsibility, ownership. Jim Carrey had to do that at such a quick and early age that it set the tone for the rest of his life. Like you said, the check, sleeping on Mahalo Drive with all of his belongings in his car, and writing that check, basically dating it to like the future that he set kind of a mental tone on where he wanted to go. And I think like
$10 million.
Yeah, and I think personal like affirmations and like belief is where it starts. You know, I always say belief is half the battle. And when you allow yourself to really get behind an idea and put everything you got into it, your back's up against the wall, there's no telling what type of limitations you will have. You could achieve like he did, and what he's achieved over the course of his life is incredible. And I think, and I've been through some experiences where it's like you have to start within yourself and change kind of the mental headspace that you're putting out, the words that you're utilizing, the thoughts that you're, thinking of, even down to like that idea of allowing like positive thoughts and flushing out negative ideas and mindset. Like all those little things, they may sound ticky-tacky or like a waste of time, but in a situation like this, you'll take everything you can. You utilize every opportunity or every little thing that may add up to the end. He was, like I said, his back was up against the wall, and what he was able to accomplish at such an early age because he had to, because he wanted to. I mean, maybe that was his overall goal and his dream, but like, you have a choice. And sometimes when you don't have a choice and you only have one direction to go, or you can only move forward, it puts you in a position to be, grind it out every little day. And you see what happens when you are pushed to a limit such early on in your life, what you can create.
Yeah, and I believe that's what you really went in upon in the next step of visualizing and the positive thinking aspect of it, because that's what he had to do. He had to visualize himself, not only writing that check, like you said, but also create the positive thinking too. And then, even though he was he had to be a janitor and work another job just to get his parents out of the situation, try to just work to put food on the table for them. And he ended up, after all that, actually ended up falling out doing this thing, and then he ended up telling his parents, hey, I ended up helping them out and saying, yo, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Until he had to bring them back to Canada because his kids won't work. So I think when it comes to not only that, visualization, positive thinking, but he also went through taking antidepressants and spirit and allowing his spirituality to guide his perception of things around him. And these are all things that you mentioned in the book, or at least Jordan mentioned in the book, that I believe is really interesting. And something you also said was, and something that I would love to hear from you, is you must be your biggest advocate and your biggest supporter. And where do you think that lies within the self-dependence aspect of things, but understanding that, you're going to be your biggest dream killer, bro. No one else is killing your dreams unless you do so, because no one else is gonna. You're gonna have to push yourself through and be the only one clapping in the room. And I believe that's something that you guys wanted to put in when it came to self-dependence. To understand what that really meant to you.
So I think, like, going back to the mindset, two things I think of is you got to be able to clap for yourself before other people. You know, you got to be able to pat yourself on the back.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times, and remember, the second one is Goggins. Just remember that. I'll remember this first one, so we'll break down that in a second. But I'm gonna forget, so you're gonna remember that.
Oh, Goggins, that's coming up,
and that's the next chapter. But in this one, I think. Dang, I just lost train of thought. I think a lot of the time, so backtracking a little bit.
Clapping for yourself.
You gotta be clapping for yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, the conversation, and this is I could branch two into one.
Yes.
Conversation with yourself is the most important one you're gonna have in your life, and Goggins talks about that. And that's actually one of my life lessons, which we could break down what the life lessons is for me in a second. The conversation you have with yourself is the most important one. Why? Because you're gonna have it with yourself more than any other person in your life, right? I'm constantly in my own head. We all constantly are. It's not just a me thing. You gotta make sure it's a good headspace, because if it's not, you're gonna go through hell and back on a regular basis, and you're gonna psych yourself out probably more than you need to. But the idea is that, for example, if you do something bad, right? Or like I say if a friend does something bad, or like they're going through something, or they didn't get a part in the play, or they didn't get that job, or they didn't get into that school, whatever the fuck it may be. What do you do to them? Hey, it's alright, man. You got this. Or try to bring their spirits up. Try to encourage yourself. If you go through that same stuff, is that how you talk to yourself? Most likely not. You say, oh, I'm worthless. Oh, I suck. Or, I didn't deserve it anyways. Like, don't matter. Why is that? Why can't we give ourselves the same encouragement we give other people in our lives? Right? Is it just because we have high expectations for ourselves? Is it because, like, that expectation puts us in a position where if we don't get there, we think we should be upset with ourselves or mad? Why can't we get that same encouragement? So it's that same mindset approach as, like, clapping for yourself. I think when those moments happen, and I try to do it, we're not all perfect, but, like, if something bad happens to me or it doesn't go my way, I'm like, hey, it's all right. We'll get the next one. You gotta be able to talk to yourself the same way. Self-talk is huge. And I'm reading a book right now for, like, the 34th time. It calls It Takes What It Takes by Trevor Moed, who's a sports psychologist. He's Russell Wilson's sports psychologist.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he talks about that. Is like, all the time, so many people say such negative things to themselves. They don't recognize negative thought, negative, like, speaking, the impact it really has on us. And I think if people really understood the impact that it had on us, you do your best to not reiterate negative comments, negative thoughts, negative ideas. You do your best to kind of push towards either neutral thinking, which he talks about, or positive thinking. So kind of backtrack is like, that's kind of what it means to me, is like, we got to be able to promote ourselves and encourage ourselves like we would our loved ones, our best friends, when they go through trauma, when they go through hardship or a negative situation, they don't get what they want. It all starts with yourself, and that's, once again, why we started with self-dependence, because if you can't understand and develop everything on your end, you can't love yourself, you can't appreciate yourself, you can't build off all these ideas for yourself, how are you supposed to do it for other people? You know, you can't fill up someone else's cup if you got nothing in our own. So it really starts with ourselves, from a mental side of things, from a self-talk things, from a mindset and approach of things. It's all on us. And like I said, that may sound selfish and all that, but, like, you can't give to everybody else if you can't do the same for yourself first, because you got nothing to give after that, because you're already depleted. You got no water in your cup. You got no energy, no nothing. So unless you help yourself, unless you love yourself, and you use those ideas on yourself, you can't promote it for anybody else.
No, that's something that is also mentioned, is that what you guys said in the book is that with not only filling your own cup, but also those responsibilities that you do have, is trying to balance those three, right? And I feel a lot of times we don't take the time, or we take too much time to go towards our responsibilities and just put our dreams to the side. And one example that I use pretty accordingly, it's actually pretty in-depth and deep, is that if you had your dream, right? If you had your dream right if you had your dream right here, or if your dream was your son, and it's in front of you, and someone had a gun to you, what would you do? A lot of people, their dream, they're like, wow. But if that was your son, or something outside of you, you would probably be diving in front of it. So my point is to say that a lot of times when we don't take care of ourselves, and then our responsibilities get into the way, they usually overcome everything. And I think that was something I took away from your book, is that you have to try to find that balance. So how do you think you've been able to find that balance? Even writing this book, I mean, COVID, yeah, but I mean, and maybe work was a little iffy, and you have to kind of still make time, but that's a big component that I think a lot of people don't recognize. That I think that they should take more time. So just hearing your perspective.
So, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's just like, unless you're able to help develop yourself to a level where you love yourself, appreciate all the things in your life, and you take on kind of what you project, it's hard to provide that to anybody else, right? Over COVID, I had a lot more time. I wasn't working. Gyms were shut down.
Yeah.
No choice. But I look back on that, and it started something within me. It ignited something, because I could have been sitting on my ass. I could have been waking up, sleeping in. I didn't have to work. I lived at home with my parents. I'm extremely grateful that I had a place and I wasn't on my own, because I would have been probably absolutely fucked. But I was at home. Groceries more or less paid for. I was still finding opportunities, but I could have just sat on my ass, played some video games, and called it a day. But I used it as an opportunity. I said, look, you didn't know how long it was going to go. It ended up being like a 3-month stint, but everything was almost practically closed, and then they started opening things up. I said, I'm going to use this opportunity because it's never going to happen probably in our lifetime ever again. You don't know. I'm going to use it as an opportunity to take myself to a whole nother level. They always say if you work out every day, you drink a gallon of water, you read 10 minutes or 10 pages of a book, and they have a list. In 2 years, you're going to be unrecognizable, or in 6 months, you're going to be 99% above everybody else. It's the same thing. If I utilize this amount of time in a way that no one else is, how far can I get in this book? So, I was waking myself up at 5 a.m. writing this fucking book. I didn't need to, bro. I could have been it's all right. I got no external motivation or factors. I got a roof over my head. My parents are paying for groceries, and I said, I'm grateful for it, because I wasn't making any money. I was going in the red real quick because gyms were closed. But I used that as a way to develop myself. Wake up at 5 a.m. writing this book with Jordan. Skyping for an hour or two before his day started. But then my day was just starting as well. I'd stretch for a certain amount of time. I was doing some Goggins shit, because that's when I read his book. I was out there stretching 3-4 hours a day. And it was absurd. I wasn't keeping track, but it's noon already. It's crazy. I was working out for an hour and a half. I was doing cardio hour and a half. I was taking on certifications so that when the gym does open back up, I was ready to roll. I took on my travel agency. Nobody was traveling during this time, and I literally just started that travel agency. About a year before that. And it's the first year is always the hardest. Well, first year is a lot harder when it smacks you across the face and no one's allowed to travel, right? So it was but I was getting ready for all of this. I literally have my schedule laid out, and I'll go back to that every now and then when I need a kick in the ass. 5 a.m. everything was scheduled. Now, did I go over in some areas? Yeah, I wasn't oh my gosh, 4:59, I gotta on to the next thing. I had everything scheduled out from 5 a.m. wake up to an hour of stretching, to an hour or 2 hours of reading, to an hour or 2 of working out, to an hour or 2 of writing blogs for my travel agency, to another hour or 2 of taking on certifications, learning a little bit more so I could become a better trainer. And then, working out, and then doing the same in the afternoon, and then still having some downtime. But I was up, maximizing my entire day. I do that for 3 months straight. There are going to be some people that can't even catch me when I get out of that. We talk about, and I'm going on a tangent a little bit, Kobe.
That's good.
Kobe wake up at 3 a.m. He did a workout 3 to 4:30. You go eat, come back 5 to 6:30, or more or less. So by the time he woke up, or by the time he was done with 2 workouts, people were waking up. Now 2 workouts in a day, that's a lot more than other people, not a whole lot. How about in a week? He said 15, 20 extra hours of training. What about in a month? Hundreds, 500, 600 hours extra training. In a year, thousands. In a decade or two, and that's how long he ended up playing. He is so far ahead of these people because of all the time he put into it. You don't see it, you don't hear about it. You may have heard about it, but he's putting himself so far ahead that no one's gonna be able to touch his skill, his mindset, his approach, because of all that extra work he's doing. Those were the mindsets that I took on. Goggins, because I started reading his book, and what Kobe called the Mamba mentality. And that projected out into everything that I did, writing this book, developing stuff for travel agents, developing stuff for health and fitness. So it was like that approach, I was on a different level. I took over. And, I still have shades of that, once everything opened back up, you gotta be able to balance that. But I'll be honest, and Goggins says this all the time, you want balance in your life? Fuck balance. You're gonna do your best to do it, and hopefully you get it on top of it. But if you wanna get to this level, balance is gonna be the least of your concerns for a decent amount of time. I wasn't even thinking about later on. It was like, put in everything I got into this. Balance is gonna come later on in my life, but if I work hard in this period of time, later in my life, I'll have that balance. But right now, it's about putting my head down and doing the fucking work.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about in the next transition of what you talked about in the chapter, which was complacency. And one in particular, there's actually two excerpts that I'm going to read to you that I'm going to read to you. I'd love to hear more of the top of down people. And then it talks about, and I'm so happy that you didn't allow COVID to get the best of you. That's first off. That it was survival of the fittest, bro, during COVID. It was the strong that makes it out. And you didn't allow yourself to get complacent. And this is one of the excerpts that you wrote, Jordan wrote, that really hit for me. Said there are so many more distractions and obstacles that can take us off the path and hinder our achievement. But the biggest enemy when it comes to achieving our dreams is ourselves. The fear of instability brought on by pursuing an uncertain goal is real. And that uncertain goal for you was, what, am I going to do this travel agency while there's nothing going on? I'm broke. I'm at home. I don't have shit. I could just sit at home, play video games all day, but you decided to be able to make a book out of it, or make your schedule accordingly. Get your time and schedule it right, so then you could actually, outside of this, come out on top. And this is something that definitely can relate to everything you said, talking to David Goggins, Kobe, and you were on some Kobe and David Goggins shit during that whole time, stretching 3 or 4 hours. That's why I start stretching 45 minutes every time I work out, before I work out and meditating. But that being said within the excerpt of the book, Jordan said, I would love to be able to give you all an example of someone who had a dream and didn't pursue it. Just lived a regular life, but unfortunately, you wouldn't know any of that. For those who take their lives and their dreams in their own hands, the chances of experiencing a more enjoyable and fulfilling lives only. And I would have to say that's what you felt like you did with the time that you had. You felt like you really just
Yeah, no. I think we all have moments of that. We get comfortable, we try to take the foot off the gas for a little bit, and that's fine. I understand breaks are necessary, mental and physical. So you're gonna overtrain, you're gonna overstimulate yourself to the point that you're not gonna be productive anyways, or you're not gonna enjoy what you're doing. There are moments like in anything we do, we're not gonna enjoy it. It's part of life. But in order to get where you want to be, you got to go through that. That's in anything, physical, mental, like in the weight room. In order to get that body, you got to eat healthy. You got to hit that extra cardio. You got to hit that extra rep, whatever it may be. You got to go through that. But the complacency side of things, I don't know. I've always envisioned something else in my life, and I stay true to that in everything that I do, or at least try to stay true to it in the majority of stuff I do. We all have our moments of weakness. We all have our moments where we might not get enough sleep or hydration, or shit may be hitting the fan on everything that we're doing. But when you recenter yourself and recognize what you want out of this world, I talk to my athletes about this too, is if you want something, like we talked about, you got to go get it first and foremost. You got to have the right mindset. You got to be able to push all the negativity or the doubt, the criticism. But if there's really something you want to go, there are certain steps you got to take, right? There's certain sacrifices you got to make, certain hardships you may have to go through. you got to know it's all worth it in the end. I didn't know what my end goal was over COVID, but I knew that if I could utilize these 3 months in a way that no one else is, or maybe some people, I'm not gonna say all, a lot of people out there that are successful, if I could utilize it the way that I want to, and I perceive and envision something past, like, you know, my certain circumstances, it's all gonna be worth it. I may not know what it is in the moment, but so many people are trying to look past, you know, steps A, B, and C, like trying to look to, you know, the 10th level. But in order to get to 10th level, you gotta go through level 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't just skip it. But don't look at level 10. That's not the next step. Level 2 is, right? And if you could go and do your best at level 2, you get the opportunity to go to level 3. A lot of people in life, they try to think of the end goal and they recognize, oh, that's way too far, it's not worth it. Well, in any aspect of life, anyone deemed to be successful, they know level 10 is where they want to be, but level 3 is what they had to go through. And the people that are crazy enough to believe that they can do it are usually the ones that end up doing it. It kind of goes off that idea of complacency. Like, I'd like to give you ideas of someone that, like, didn't follow their dreams, but, like, you don't remember them because they never followed. All the people that ended up doing it, they made it through. They pushed past perseverance, they pushed past those hardships and made those sacrifices necessary to get wherever they wanted to be. But people have this, like, fixed idea that, like, it's gonna be as easy as, you know, anything else in this world. People that make it are the ones that are willing to sacrifice everything, not knowing that end goal and not knowing how long it's gonna take, but they know that's what they want, right? And that could be in any journey, mental, physical, professional. And like I said, like, when you're able to get to that level of, like, understanding this is what it takes to get to that level, this is what you need to do, not what.
Action. Okay. Oh, this would be a great transition to go straight into the first game. First game, all right? So, let's see. I'm gonna need you have your phone, right?
Yeah.
All right. You wanna go first and take this L or what?
If you want, yeah.
All right, so idea with all this is we already explained this, right? But we're gonna do 3 different games. We have made a bet that whoever loses, right? Number 1, if I lose, then, oh, it overheated as well. This overheated, I'll be getting tased. If Ryan loses, then we're going to Korean barbecue. We're going to Korean barbecue, and he has to wear a pink Power Ranger suit. He does not look excited about that at all. Well, because he's gonna be taking this out. So, that being the case, we have this ball, and whoever makes, we'll say 3 shots. We'll make it 3 shots? 3 shots. Bro, this is big time. That Power Ranger suit is looking good on you, brother. That Power Ranger suit's looking good. All right, we'll take 3 shots. Whoever makes the first 3 shots within the least amount of time wins. All right, we'll let you go first. And get
Where are you holding it?
I'll just hold it. Yeah, I'll just hold it. All right, I'm gonna hold it right here, and whoever makes the first 3 shots will win the first challenge. All right, 3. Well, start whenever you start. Oh, there's one. There's one. I'll let you get it.
2.
Oh, fuck. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, huh? 8 seconds? Bro, that's how long I last. Bro, why did you have to make all 3 of those right away, bro?
That means you miss 1.
That was too easy. Oh, well, we have the same distance. All right, 8 seconds? How did you just went, you talk about Kobe. Have you been doing this in your room, bro?
That's Mamba mentality.
That's Mamba mentality right there. You've been practicing these shots.
I do need to get one of these hoops, to be honest.
All right, I'll start it on my. Damn. All right.
But you gotta like this?
Yeah, it's fine. All right. Fuck. All right.
Clutch.
Fuck.
Clutch more.
How did you make 3 in a row? In the first 8 seconds?
That was beginner's luck, but it was the follow through, I think.
All right, 0-1. 0-1, Ryan. 1 for Ryan. Damn, I didn't taste. Not it. 1 for Ryan for wearing a pink Power Ranger suit to Korean barbecue, and 0 for me for getting tased. All right, back to the book. Gonna act like that didn't happen. Move forward accordingly. Okay, yes. So we have made a transition to a new spot because the shade is getting to both of us. So that being the case, glasses. That being the case, yeah. And I believe not only understanding the complacency aspect of where you were at, and next steps of what Jordan was talking about in the book, and understanding of next person would be Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle ended up actually getting a $50 million contract, right? Mm-hmm. And he ended up turning it down for a multitude of reasons, and he ended up traveling. And I know you spoke about how you started your own travel agency within like a year before COVID, and I think this is a good understanding of what it means to not only travel and why you started your agency, but what does it mean to travel and why is that important to you? Because kind of before I end that question, Dave Chappelle ended up traveling to Africa, and then he ended up finding himself a deeper sense of gratitude and reflection on culture and a cultural exchange, and it really captured his imagination. And so from the times that we've traveled, I've seen that we put ourselves in new opportunities and new environments that have found us in places that we could never imagine. And I think you offer that opportunity for other people. And I think that's important. And so what do you think you took away from not only Dave Chappelle and his story, but the aspect of what it was within the book that came to travel?
So from like the story itself, and just even in my life, I recognize sometimes the scariest thing, or the thing that you're most afraid of doing, is the one that you need to do, right? So my first ever trip outside the U.S. was on an international exchange when I was in high school. Went to Spain, and it's cultural immersion. You stay with that host family. You learn their language, learn their culture through food, through how they spend their days, and obviously you're traveling around Spain. Mm-hmm. And that was something that frightened me. I don't know why, being outside the U.S. For the first time, but also like the culture shock when you're speaking in an entirely different language and you're still learning it. But I recognize like it was a beautiful opportunity, and it was something I was afraid of doing, so I knew I needed to do it, and that was like early on. But it kind of all started with that, and then I studied abroad in college, and then me and Jordan actually backpacked around Europe after we graduated college. So culture and immersion, language, all that has been such an important aspect of my life, because I think sometimes we live in our own bubble in the U.S. And we don't get to see other cultures and how other people operate and function, and it's a beautiful thing. Language, food, like a lot of beautiful relationships and friendships are founded upon that language, on food, on traveling. Like I'd say our friendship was founded upon that first ever travel. We had only met one other time before that, when we were at the gym. But that was the time and opportunity that we got to bond, get to know each other. We spent a week together, so obviously like you get to see every part of an aspect of somebody when you travel with them. But I recognized, and like I was able to see a different perspective on life through travel, and I wanted to be able to provide that to other people, getting outside their own bubble, getting outside of their own comfort zone. And it kind of just embodies some of the other aspects I wrote in this book and in my life. But starting that travel agency was probably one of the scariest things I've ever done. I didn't know how to start a business. The only traveling components I knew was booking travel for myself, and I just dove in the deep end. It became one of the most beautiful things. It's allowed me to see such amazing things, meet people from all over the world. And the goal, once again, and there's a theme in my life, is if you do what you love, you never have to work another day in your life. But also, like, monetary incentive wasn't the goal out of that. It's a lot of work, and it's all commissions based. But the beautiful opportunities I get to see, the beautiful people I get to meet, I get to continue to learn Spanish and take it on Italian and German in different areas, different times. It's allowed me to have more gratitude when it comes to just other people. the way other people operate, and language, and all that stuff. But from starting the travel agency, you know, it was something that I feared doing the most, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And you know, I could say partially still don't know what the hell I'm doing 3-4 years, 5 years later, but it's a learning process. Sometimes you figure it out as you go. And I think a lot of times in life when we do something, right, you have to think about it first. What are the pros and cons? Should I really do it? You build it all up in your head. Sometimes you just gotta fucking do it. Figure it out as you go. And those are one of the times where I kind of founded that idea. Just do it, dive into the deep end, and you figure it out later on. It's been one of the greatest blessings in my life, and it's created some beautiful friendships that I still hold to today. Some of the most amazing people I've met from all over the world. It's really founded upon that, and I'll always have, you know, culture and language and all that will always have a great close place in my heart, and I'll always keep true to that. But you know, it kind of started on a whim. I figured it out as I went, and it's been a blessing ever since. There's a learning curve to anything in your life, but I really think like if you put enough time, energy, and effort into like learning a skill or researching or developing something, like you can really do anything in this world.
Yeah, and within the book, this gets to the end of the book, of end of the chapter 2. Of each one of your chapters, you have life lessons, which I really enjoy because, you know, I like the mental masturbation of things when it comes to being able to have a quote and then digest it all. And then those different lessons that you took away, not only within the chapter, also relate to the topic of what it's been self-dependence or personal wellness and all the other chapters. And there's 6 that you have within the last life lessons that you've actually put in the last chapter, which number 1 you put in said there are going to be times where life sucks, buckle up. And Jordan, and vice versa yourself.
That was a Jordan quote. All the quotes though, regardless, we like came up together. But that's,
you did?
That's a Jordan quote.
Okay, right, so some of these,
regardless of if they wrote the chapter or not, the life lessons is something that we believe that we can attack together.
Okay. So you came together at the end of it. Okay, sweet. Well, then I guess we're gonna find out which ones. These are yours. We can go through 2 or 3 or a decent amount. We got time. The wind's blowing.
Yeah, it feels good.
Feels good. But this is within chapter said. This is what started off the first life lesson, which was 99% of people will get bitch slapped with this one, and we were looking for that 0.01%. And then one of the excerpts that you had within it that he said was as you would hope that someone would not try and dash your dreams, especially when hard times are hard. Don't be quick to criticize the dreams of others. Respect them for bearing themselves openly and pursuing something that might not be assured. How do you think that relates to the quote, there are going to be times where life sucks, buckle up?
So that was a Jordan one, but
yeah.
I feel like a lot of the times we want something to be certain. We want a certain goal or outcome. We want to know when something may end or finish or when we can reach that. But a lot of success, I think, is stepping into the unknown and trusting and having faith. And whatever that is, a higher belief system, just a mindset, an approach. So whatever that may be to you, I think sometimes like diving into the deep end without knowing what's on the other end. And like people dream crazy dreams, but like I said before, the ones who are crazy enough to believe that they could do it are usually the ones that do. Some of the greatest stories that you hear in life and that we read in the book are off those whims or off those belief systems. So like if someone believes it and they stand by it and they're respectful about it, it doesn't have to be like arrogant, ignorant, or they're causing issues like in your life. Like, why does it matter what belief system they have? And like it goes to like, and I don't even say it that way, like you, I've always admired that you'll do whatever the fuck you want regardless of what other people think, right? And you just, that's how you live, that's how you approach. And a lot of the times when you do stuff, do you think necessarily through the entire thing? No. You just go out and do it. You figure it out as you go. Well, who am I to crush that? Who am I to crush someone else's happiness or someone else's belief system, right? A lot of people I think in life, like, can you respect what you don't understand? Can you? That's a huge question I ask a lot of people, is like, you may have a certain belief system and I may not understand it, right? But I can respect it because it's your belief system and it's what you embody. who is it for me to tell you, nah, that's wrong? You know, there are certain situations where, like, you know, 1 + 1 probably equals 2 for the most part. I've never been in any math class that doesn't, but there's a lot of subjectiveness to all other aspects of life. Like, who the fuck am I to tell you, like, you don't want to do that, you know, or that's a bad idea? It's not my life to you know, ruin or disclose or like change your belief system. Now, if it's dangerous or something that causes you harm, maybe I might like help you out for a sec, you know, just like the intentionally homeless thing. Like, you know, I'm more concerned for you, but like, I know if anyone's gonna pull that shit off, it's gonna be you. So it's like the same idea. Is like that uncertainty, that unknown. Like, sometimes you dive into it, it's the best thing you could ever do in your life, but you won't know until you try.
I'll make these life lessons open in there as well. It may not be your fault, but it's for damn sure your responsibility. Will Smith.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
And
that's a me one.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I could talk about this, and also number 6 I'm going to come with all day. But it says we make excuses instead of taking responsibility, and when it is someone else's fault, we want them to suffer. We want them to feel what we feel in those moments. Sometimes we even want them to pay. We want revenge. We made examples of the violent father, cheating spouse, money issues. What does this quote mean to you? And yeah, it may not be your fault, but it's damn sure your responsibility.
So when you put the blame on someone else, you take the power away to fix it or change whatever outcome that may be. When you take ownership and responsibility, even if it's not your fault, you take ownership. That means that's the first step in being able to do something about it. So like, for example, in those examples, it may not be your fault if your spouse cheats on you, but it is for sure your responsibility to figure out how to cope with that situation. You can't just go around resenting the world. I mean, you could, but I don't know how productive and beneficial your life's going to be after. You have to be able to take ownership in the next steps, right? It may not be your fault that like you have an abusive alcoholic father, and that's just an example. But it's for sure your responsibility to figure out like how to work past that trauma in your life instead of blaming everybody else, like, oh, this is why I am because of that. You could play the victim's mentality, but like, is that going to get you anywhere? So taking ownership and a responsibility in any aspect of life allows you to take steps forward to changing that circumstance, right? It may not be your fault, and that's okay, right? But you have to figure out how to take ownership in a sense that you can move forward and continue on, right? Or like, just play the victim's mentality, and that shit ain't gonna get you anywhere.
Some people don't even realize they're doing it though.
Yeah, and some people feed off of that, and it's unfortunate, but like, once again, that ain't your responsibility either. But how are you going to deal with somebody in that situation that is? That's your responsibility. Or how are you going to cope with that? Are you going to continue to stay friends with them, in a relationship with them? So like, each and every situation like that, like, it may not ever be your fault, and that's okay. But I'd like to take at least responsibility for it and continue to live on and move forward.
3, make things happen for yourself. The worst thing you can do is to think of your. Oh man, when I read this, unreal, bro. This I would love to understand where this came from, because this is something that I took away. This is one of the quotes that I think one of the biggest excerpts I took from what you guys said, because it's not that it almost made me feel entitled, and I hate entitlement, right? Mm-hmm. Entitlement might be the worst trait that I'm least attracted to, and it really made me reevaluate myself, and how I perceive myself on the outer side of the world, in the aspect of how much I want to give and what it means for me to be special. The worst thing you can do is think of yourself as special. That doesn't mean that you aren't, but there is a major difference between feeling destined to achieve greatness and feeling entitled. Like the world owes you something. In this world, if you want anything to happen for you, you have to be willing to put in the fucking work for it. Ooh. Ooh.
You want me to touch upon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't think like everything in my life, and it's just my perception, everything's earned, man. I don't want no handouts. I don't want no, that doesn't mean I don't want help. It's okay to have help. That's a different story. People are offering when you have an opportunity to like lean on someone, that's okay. But like everything and anything that I'm going to do in life, I'm going to try to earn it. I'm going to earn my keep. When I came back to Maryland, I was starting my business from scratch, when I came back last summer in June. And I told the guy that was the director of training at the time, I said, don't give me anybody. Don't give me a single client. Let me put in the work. Let me earn my keep. I don't want no handouts. You got to help me build this back up. I will do it myself. And I don't say that as ignorant or cocky, like, oh, I got this. Like, I don't need anybody. I do it in a sense to, like, kind of like psych myself out. Like, shit, like, I'm going to put myself up against the back. I'll put my back up against the wall and I'm going to do this work. I'm going to put my head down and do the fucking work. Because ain't nobody going to do it for me. Right? I'm going to do it for myself. But if you think in this world that somebody's going to hold your hand and get you to where you need to be, you need a slap across the face. And there are times, like I said, where we need help or we have guidance. That's okay. That's never a wrong thing. But to be entitled to the point, and especially in this area, there's a lot of entitlement going around, think someone's going to give you something, you're out of your fucking mind. You have to go out there and get it. You have to go out there and put in the work. And I don't say that in a bad way. I say that in a motivating way that's going to take me to a whole nother level in everything that I do. I had to build my business back up from scratch. And there were days I don't have clients. There are weeks that I barely have any money. But because I've done that, I put myself in a self-dependence position. I put myself in a position that I got to do all of it, or I'm not going to eat by the end of the week, or I'm not going to be able to pay rent, or I'm not going to be able to like go on that trip, or go out and do whatever that is. And when you put yourself up against the wall, you can only go this way. You can't go backwards. You're running to the wall. So when I'm taking steps forward, whether it be a little baby step or leaps, I know that I'm pushing closer and closer. But it's because I put myself in a position to earn everything. I don't take handouts. I work for it. And in time, I know I'm going to reap the rewards. But that doesn't mean I get rewarded in that moment. Doing something, like I said, without knowing the goal or the outcome or how long it's going to take. Sometimes you just got to put the work in and trust in it. And I do try to do that a lot because I want to earn everything I get in this world. I say I put these two hands, Rock says all the time, it's like I put that work in with these two hands right here. He had $7 in his pocket, and he's one of the wealthiest, most celebrated individuals based off his story. I don't need to have that same story, but I can have that same approach and mindset in everything I do.
4, find your tribe. For those big dreams, the ones we might even question if we can really achieve, knowing that there is someone in our corner helping us out and achieving and encouraging us to make it happen can be exactly what we need to be successful in our own aims.
So that's a Jordan one. His wording, you could tell on the quotes, was like, I used to give a shit about it. Anyways, so like having a mentor or someone to believe in you can take you leaps and bounds beyond what you are able to believe in yourself. So 2 scenarios in my life. I had a tough time athletically. I had surgery in my 8th grade, and I didn't put in the work necessary to make my high school teams right out of the gate in 9th grade. I was provided a chance. I was in a PE class, and my PE teacher was a lacrosse coach. I never played lacrosse in my life, and it showed very early on. He gave me a chance, and he gave me an opportunity to try out for the team. He didn't make cuts, and we had 50-something kids on the team when only 11 would touch the field. And we didn't end with 50, but he gave everyone the opportunity. So I want to give each and every kid an opportunity, because if I give them an opportunity, you don't know how far they can take that opportunity. Some may just like take it and say like, screw it, like it didn't work out. But some may take it as far as, maybe playing professional lacrosse, who knows? That belief system gave me an opportunity to say, hey, he sees something in me that I don't. And it allowed me the opportunity to be like, okay, I can make this possible. But someone believing in me could be the first step. And that me believing in someone could be the first step to greatness for them too. The second opportunity in that was, and I actually just talked to him the other day, he's my mentor out in California. And now when I was in California, I really had no networks, barely. I had decided to start at a gym. It's called Self-Made Training Facility. We went and hit a workout when you came out.
It's great.
And we were there and we were talking about just some of these ideas, and he had these mentorship programs. He's one of the marketing directors or lead directors of like the franchise. And he would do these business seminars. And I was like, I didn't really have the money to do it, but I was like, this is knowledge that I can gain from it. It's the same reason I pay for books. It's like $30, $40 here and there for a few books. If I can get 2 or 3 good ideas from there, it's a good investment, because that can help me make more money, but it can also help provide something that I need in life that's, you know, not from a monetary incentive. That won't make me money, but make me more fulfilled, or something I can pass on to someone else. And in the first seminar was on a weekend, and you know, we had breaks in the seminar, and he came up to me at some point and like dapped me up, said what's up to me, and just asked me how I was doing and stuff. He gave me a smile, and he like gave me like a weird look. He looked like he was like looking into me, not at me. So I don't know what it is, but there's something special about you. You're gonna be all right. And he knew my story coming out here, and he knew that I had like very little income, and I was deciding to start from scratch, trying to operate my own training business. And that belief always stuck with me, right? Always stuck with me, to the point that ended up like, I remember that moment, that like, because he had that belief in me, I was able to take that somewhere else. And I actually talked to him yesterday, which is ironic. I still stay in touch with him, and he got me on the phone here and there, and like, you know, his belief system, but sometimes he would tell me like what I needed to hear versus what I wanted to hear. And he would always tell me, hey, Ryan, you're treating your like personal training like a job. The minute you convert it to switching your belief system as personal training as a career, as a business, you're gonna take the necessary steps to take yourself to a whole nother life, right, within that field. And it was something I needed because I was getting complacent a little bit. But the idea that, going back to like finding your tribe, finding a mentor, finding someone who believed in you, it took me to a whole nother level. And once I really started to activate that in April, we had that conversation in the winter before basketball season, but like in April and May, I started implementing that. And I've taken my personal training business to a whole entire new level, to the point that I've surpassed income, surpassed clientele numbers, surpassed all aspects of my business, not my job, my business, in my entire lifetime in the past 2-3 months, right? But finding people who believe in you, the power of belief is huge. Self-belief is important, but there's someone, a mentor, someone, it could be anywhere, that says, hey, I believe in you, you're gonna make it. You don't know how powerful that is until someone says that to you. And that was those 2 moments that I can remember in my life, 2 people that believed in me, from an athletic side, from a career side, from a mental and physical side, that I didn't maybe have in myself. But it's taken my belief system to a higher, different level, because those people said, and as simple as, hey, I believe you're gonna be okay, you're gonna make it. And you know, to be able to do that for someone else, that's what I want to be able to make the impact in my world. But those people really maybe saved my career, saved my athletic career, saved my, you know, professional career in training, because they took the time out to tell me that they believed in me, and I was be able to piggyback off that, and that was my tribe.
It takes, even if it's just one. That's why I say my motto is changing the world one person at a time. Because that's all it takes, bro. It takes one person to change the whole trajectory. And so if I can go in with that mindset of, I can be 100% present with you right now in all aspects, and do that with the next person, and the next person, and the next person, you don't think that conversation may change their life for yours? Mm-hmm. Or one meeting, one call, one action, one step. And so even just that moment, he may not even know. Maybe you have told him. But that's why you have to live your life accordingly. Mm-hmm. Because there's so many people out here that think that this shit's about them. Like, I'm dressed the way I am, and I think the way I do, and I speak the way I do. I post the information on, and the content I do is for me. No, it's because I know I have people every fucking day, and I don't even say it. I don't need to say it. Mm-hmm. Hit me up on my fucking social media saying, Jay, you're a mirror. I can look at myself in the mirror now because you were that for me. Mm-hmm. You changed my life. You changed my perspective. It's not about the fucking views. It's not about the fucking likes or this shit. Just you leading yourself to become a leader, that's how this shit works. And so you being able to understand, define your tribe, and even that tribe being one, your tribe doesn't have to, you need 2 people, you need 3, maybe 1. Take all of this shit down, bro. All of it. And that's why we're so connected, because over time we've realized that we're not only not doing it for ourselves, but we're on a mission to do things bigger than just hanging out, talking about sports, talking about pop culture, talking about, no, like we want something bigger, not only for us, so we can make our dreams come true, so we can make everyone else around us come true. And that's what this book's about. And bro, I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited. 5, you will make mistakes. Learn from them. Use them as a compass to help you grow and learn more about the world and yourself. And I'll add more onto it, because that's all I wrote. But it was interesting to say, letting your mistakes be a compass for your life, and what you need to do to learn from those to navigate where you need to go. Is a lot of times people look at those things that they should never have in their life. They should never feel negative emotions. They should never make mistakes. They should never fail. When really, those times of you going out to Cali and you trying to start make it out there, and it just shitting down your leg, and COVID happening, and then all you have is yourself. You don't have nobody else. There's nobody. There's a wall, but I'm running into this thing every day. I'm trying to take steps forward. And so, how do you think mistakes have been your compass, and how have you learned from it?
So, when I did a motivational Monday on this, in life, I think you either win or you learn. I don't really necessarily believe in losing. Yes, like if you're in a sporting culture, like there's some sort of like scoreboard or like outcome, and it says like, you know, the final score is this or that. Technically speaking, you lost, but if you take something away from it, did you really lose? Yeah. I think in life, like, so many people are afraid of failure, but failure is a stepping stone to success. All those people like Thomas Edison, he made like 10,000 inventions that didn't work until he found the light bulb. Or maybe it's 1,000, don't quote me on that. I think it's in the book too. 10,000, we'll say 10,000 ways. And, you know, so failure is a stepping stone to success, right? Thomas Edison, when he was making inventions, he was like, I found 10,000 ways like something doesn't work before I found the right one. If you stopped after failure, you wouldn't have, maybe not have electricity, who knows? But that's not like in anything, man. Like, professional athletes are a good example. Are they perfect? Is any athlete won every single game, made every free throw, made every pass, you know, scored every goal every time he's, you know, touched the ball? Like, these are situations where like people have failed, and some of the most successful athletes have failed, right? Like LeBron, and he's lost 6 championships, but he's won 3. Or 4, maybe 4. You just think about the 4 times he's won, right? He's gone through some of those tribulations and some of those losses, and he's learned from his mistakes, and then he comes out successful on another time, or maybe not the next time, but the time after that. You got to go through failure. You got to make mistakes. That's how you learn what works and what doesn't. That's how you become resilient to failure too, like, or rejection, or, you know, disapproval. Like, things are gonna happen to the point, like, you know, there are clients that have turned me down. There are people that, like, I'm not interested, or I go somewhere else. I learned from that opportunity. I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's something that I can learn from, and I continue on. And so people like make mistakes. I fuck up. We all do. No one's perfect. But are you gonna let that hold you back from your dreams? You'd be like, all right, I can take another punch. Or hey, you know, shrug that one off. Let's see if I can do it this time. You know, I've been going through personal training on my own, like in my own lifestyle for 8 years. I've made thousands of mistakes. Maybe not approach pricing the right way. Maybe not have approached a conversation the right way. Maybe not said the right thing to a client and didn't come back training. Okay, I learned from that opportunity. I'll make sure I don't do it again. But you can't be afraid of failure. You know, it may suck. It may bruise the ego a little bit. It may hurt, but now you know not to do it, or now you can go from that opportunity. You win or you learn. An opportunity where you could lose. What did you learn from that opportunity? What did you learn from that mistake? You know, I say, like, you make a mistake, the same mistake twice is called a decision. I like that. I learned from a mistake. I'll do my best not to try that again. but it's a part of success. No person's been 100% from the free throw line, won 100% of their games, complete 100% of their passes, whatever it may be. Like, you got to go through some mistakes or some errors before you reach the top.
We're going to entertainment piece number 2. Number 2. All right, we have these chicken flingers. All right, we have these chicken flingers. Whoever flings it the farthest wins. All right. Actually, no. How about this? We can either do whoever slings it the farthest, or we can get 2 flings. Or we can get a practice fling. Let's get 1 practice fling for both of us, and then we'll go from there.
We got 2 for 3.
Yeah, we'll go 2 for 3. I don't know.
Series out of it.
Huh?
So we can make a little series out of it. Do a practice round.
Yeah, practice round. Because have you ever flung? I've not flung it.
One time ever, and it was funny. It's actually
all right. It's practice round. Okay, I'll go first. Okay, that was sauce.
That wasn't that bad.
I could have pulled it. Oh shit!
Yours went farther.
I went farther. Okay, mine went farther by 2 feet. 2 feet.
All right,
All right, that was trial run. You want to do best 2 out of 3?
yeah,
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. Let's do it. 2 out of 3. I don't know. I was going by the butt-in.
like round 1.
Around 1. So you want to go best 2 out of 3?
Yeah.
Okay, that one was pretty far. Fuck!
Did I beat you?
Fuck! Yeah! No! Okay. This is for taser rights right now. If I don't get farther than him in this one, I lose all the. We don't have to go to the next water battle challenge. Fuck. Oh, this is funny.
I don't even remember which way I did it, to be honest. You beat me.
Did I hit you?
Yeah.
Yes! Yeah! By a hair! By a hair! By 1 foot! 1 foot! Okay, 1v1. 1v1. Okay. I'm fucking dehydrated. I'm fucking scared, dog. Okay. Alright. Fuck, that one went sideways!
You're still pretty good.
Let's go! Yeah! The deed is done. You still going?
Jay. If you tased today, I don't know if he's going to do it right now. mentally prepare for it? You want to say fuck it and do it? It's crazy when I said Jungle Jay's about to get tased. Just 30 people signed up.
Oh no! 30 people?
No, it was like 1.5.
1.5. Okay.
But whoever it is, they're about to watch it live.
Well, the greatest terrible part is that we're gonna charge this.
Okay, cool. So he's gonna mentally prepare for the one person watching. But you're gonna see it in a little bit.
We're back in action, and your boy took a me now. 2-0. First game, I lost horrendously. He made 3 shots in 8 seconds. 3 back-to-back. Kobe mentality, mama mentality. And I missed all 3. And I only could miss 1. Actually, I couldn't miss any. I could maybe miss 1 and still rebound. Shit the bed. Chicken flingers. Went 1v1. Beat me by 3 feet. So now, I guess it's a game time decision whether he will be tasing me or I'll be tasing myself. But this will be an experience I'll never forget. And this is a great transition. This is a great transition into talking about the one aspect that we could probably dive into forever. Is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Although this area is a safe haven for us and what we like to call our comfort zone, it is more often than not the path of least resistance. It is the area that lacks change and opportunity, where dreams and ambitions usually go to die. A place that is blind to true growth and full potential. There is no challenge. There is no opposition. There is nothing in that bubble that you do not already know or know how to do. It is all familiar, all the same.
So when we talked about it before in a few other segments, your comfort zone's where dreams go to die. There's very little or no progress being made within that comfort zone. Something that you're comfortable with is more of habitual and more of like something that you're already used to than it is growth or progression or development. And I think you have to be uncomfortable with, or you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where all the growth is. As I am a trainer and a coach, a lot of my analogies or like metaphors or ideas are related with my athletes, or related towards like health and fitness. So like when you're in the gym, or say you lift 150 pounds, right, and you do it 10 times, the way to progress is either doing another rep or more weight. Both of them are probably going to push you a little past what you're just doing, right? But that's where the growth is. That's where the muscles either developing, you're developing strength, you're enhancing your overall physical abilities. It's going to be uncomfortable, and but like that's where the growth is. That's where the development is, mentally and physically, of course, but even mentally. So any aspect in your life, when we can name professionally, whatever it may be, when you're able to go outside that comfort zone and you're able to tap into some other area, that's where the growth is. I lived my entire life in Maryland, and I would tell you one of the biggest learning curves and adjustments I've ever had in my life was moving out to SoCal on very little money and with very little like direction. But I will tell you, in that 14-month span that I lived out there, I probably grew more than in the last 6 to 8 years. And I've grown a significant amount. But I put myself in an unknown position, in a position I wasn't comfortable with, that I wasn't used to, that I hadn't been previously, and that's where my back was up against the wall and I was able to develop where I needed to be, So in that sense, that was where all the growth was. So when you're understanding growth is where you're uncomfortable, you can obviously change like the mental gaps, and it's like, okay, if I'm uncomfortable in this situation, physically, mentally, whatever it may be, professionally, I'm growing in some way, shape, or form. So you got to be comfortable with that, or else you're just going to hate any opportunity to grow, because you're going to gear it towards something that you don't want to do, or something that's out of where your normal is or habits are. And that's the wrong mindset. Be uncomfortable, or be comfortable with the uncomfortable allows you to grow to the level in which you can succeed in any aspect of your life.
Yeah, I also agree. And one aspect that I would add in is that something I learned is that our nervous system holds on to a lot of past trauma and bad experiences, along with mistakes made and or things that we think that are fear and anxiety, which are really excitement and adrenaline. And people would rather live a familiar hell than an unfamiliar heaven. And that's something that we must embrace at all times. And understand there is no light without dark, no chaos without order, there's no Batman without Joker, there's no rain without sunshine. All this, it all creates balance. And so if we come to realize that it's like a heartbeat monitor, it just goes up and down, and if you're not doing shit, guess what? You get comfortable and that shit flatlines. And through your story and your journey, that's something that you realize that you've had to embrace, and even you had to teach that consistently, especially during the COVID times, and you come out of SoCal and you creating everything in the past of why this is happening, and then now maybe you're reaping some rewards. And so to end this, I would like to hear from not only chapter 1, chapter 2, but a little ending of everything that we've encompassed today, of not only being comfortable with being uncomfortable, but aspect of complacency, and really what self-dependence means, and what these 2 chapters has, and even this experience has done for you, and what this book is. It's an all-encompassing question. And just a little ending of what do you think this all can mean? And it's a loaded little question, but I think you'll be good at bringing that together.
Let me see if I can sum it up in 3 things. 1, the most important conversation you're going to have is with yourself. We're going to talk about that. That's Goggins, which is in the next chapter, but it's got to be a good place. You know, self-talk is important. What goes on in your mind projects what goes out in the physical, like body and world. It all starts here, and it all starts here. You can't do anything outside of what you can't do anything outside if you're unable to do it on the inside. You can't do it for other people what you're not able to do for yourself. So as selfish and self-centered as that may be, you need to sometimes be selfish, you need to be self-centered, and you need to bring positivity, encouragement, and whether that be positive self-talk, positive imagery, whatever it may be, it's all going to start here. You can't do anything else unless you start from within, and that's why we started with self-dependence. Second thing is, the thing that you're most afraid to do is probably the thing you need to do. Okay? The thing you're most afraid of is what you need to do. So many times in life we sit there and think and contemplate and hesitate and blah blah blah, and like we don't actually end up doing. We just think, and we put us in a deep hole of doubt and anxiety and depression. Sometimes you just gotta go out and do it, figure it out. The world is a scary place, but not if you make it out to be a wonderful place. It's all in your head. Mostly, a lot of the times that I've done something, I may have learned, or I may have made a mistake, I may have failed, but I've learned from it, I've grown from it, I've built from it. That's what you want in this world, right? And it's not easy to fail, it's not easy to do something wrong, it's not easy to be on the losing end, but not if you don't believe it's the bad side. Not if you don't believe that you can grow from it, you can build, right? And I think that last thing is, well, I guess it's like piggybacking off of it, and it's the reason why I've done what I've done is like go out and be instead of think. That kind of embodies, like, I made a book, I've never, you talked about it before, I don't have a PhD, I don't have any writing experience, I fucking hated writing, I hated English class and writing class, dude, for as long as I could remember. When I read a book, I didn't know the first thing about starting a business. The only travel I ever did, a book, was for myself, but I started a travel agency, and I've met amazing people, and I've done amazing things from it. I failed more times than I can remember at personal training, and I'm still going at it the point that now my income and my clientele is higher than it's ever been in my entire career, right? And I'm grateful for the tribulations. I'm grateful for all the bad things that have happened, because I look at them as bad things. I look at them as stepping stones. I look at them as opportunities to grow and learn. And most importantly, I've gone out and done it. You can't say like you failed at thinking. You can't. I failed at doing something, yeah. But you can't sit here and be like, I failed because I thought about that. No. You failed because you only thought. So go out and be. Go out and do. I promise things won't feel as scary once you're in it. It may still be scary, but you're going to be like, shit, glad I took the leap. Any failure or any situation that I've taken in life where I've just gone and done instead of thought, some of the greatest things in my life. Right? Mel Robbins talks about this when we didn't get into her, but she has a 5-second rule. In 5 seconds, your mind basically tells your body to stop doing something. In all those moments I've decided to do something, I'll tell you, I didn't even think. I just did it. And those are some of the most grateful experiences, memories, and people that I've had the opportunity to work with, learn from, be mentored by, develop friendships with. But it would have never happened if I just thought about it.
And that's a wrap of episode 1 of the Next Chapter book promotion episode. All right? And promising what we will be ending off doing this 10 to 12 episodes, and ending off to be able to have the opportunity to do a networking promotion event with my boy Ryan and Jordan. Jordan, you will be in the next episode. We'll do actually online because I'll be around in the States. But I wanted to make the first one with my boy Ryan to chop it up, make this happen, and see what we can make of it. All right? I appreciate all of y'all. And that encompasses it, and that's almost a closing statement.
I want to start the live over.
We're going to start the live over. The reason this is happening, we're starting the live over. We're changing the title. And I'm about to get tased for the first time in my life. I think I have to charge this. All right. Say a little ending thing to it.
Give us 2 minutes and Jungle Jay's about to get tased. He's doing a real taser.
All right.
Spark it. End up losing me in a challenge. I don't physically think I can cause the guy any harm because I love him, so he's gonna do it to himself.
Yep.
It's more like self-inflicted pain. So this will definitely be worth it. It'll be very quick.
It'll be very quick?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
How long are you holding it?
I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to.
Kind of want to like.
You want to be in it?
No, I don't want to be in it.
You don't want to be in it?
I get the full live view, and then your viewers get the live view. If you can flip the camera.
Yeah, you flip the camera.
No, fuck it.
Yeah. It's live. You can just press it.
All right. You want this way or this way?
That way's fine.
All right, Jungle Jay, live and direct.
Ah! Come on!
All right.
All right. Hell no! Okay, hold on. Just give me a fucking...
All right.
Okay.
Contemplating his decision.
Alright, I'm not contemplating. I made a commitment.
Hey, remember when Mel Robbins said like 5 seconds? It's kind of like the same idea.
Oh, god damn! Oh, fuck. Damn, I fucking... Oh, we're good. Oh. Bro, my leg fucking gave out. Oh, okay. That's what I'm talking about. Much love, keep spreading. Remember, love is the answer no matter the question. God damn! Shit!